No Luka? No problem. After the blockbuster trade that sent Anthony Davis to the Dallas Mavericks, the identity of the Mavericks has completely flipped and they still have a chance to get an NBA playoffs. Anthony Davis holds the key to their successes, and it's time for him to prove the haters wrong and to go get the Mavericks into the postseason. Today on Bucket Talk, we'll be diving into the play-in matchup that occurs on Wednesday between the Mavs and the Kings and the keys to winning that game. What's going on, guys? It's your host, Ahan, back here with another video at Bucket Talk. And today, we're going to be talking a little bit about the play-in tournament and how the Mavericks are situated right now against the Kings. So, currently, the Mavericks are in 10th place in the Western Conference, and the Kings are in 9th. And those two seeds are locked in right now. So, the Mavericks will play the Kings in the upcoming play-in tournament to try and get into the playoffs. So, basically, the path for the Mavericks is very simple. If you lose against the Kings, you are eliminated and you will not even have a chance to go into the postseason. But if you win against the Kings, you have a chance to play the winner of the 7 and 8, which I believe is the 7 and 8 seed is the Warriors and the Grizzlies. So if the Mavericks win on Wednesday, they will play the winner of the 7th and the 8th game, and whoever wins that game gets in the playoffs. I mean, the loser of the 7th and the 8th seed game. So the Mavericks have a date with either the Grizzlies or the Warriors if they win today's game, depending on the outcome of the Grizzlies and Warriors game. It's a little bit confusing, but it makes the NBA playoffs a whole lot more exciting. But the Kings have really had the Mavericks number this year. Mavericks have lost all 3 matchups against the Kings, including an overtime stunner that the Kings pulled off in Dallas. Today, I think we should talk about some of the keys to the winning against this very talented Kings team. First of all, it's the battle of the bigs in the series. Mavericks are now, their identity is their front court. Whenever you trade away a guy like Luka Doncic and you're putting all your faith into Anthony Davis and saying he can be that guy. So this matchup starts with Anthony Davis locking down Domantas Sabonis. Domantas Sabonis is an amazing rebounder, and I think Anthony Davis needs to prohibit him from getting all those rebounds and limit him on the glass. So another thing Anthony Davis also needs to do is dominate the matchup in the paint. In the last couple of matchups, Anthony Davis has been very sparky, I would say. Against the Lakers, it's like he didn't even want to come play. He wasn't in the building. He was playing very soft, and he was getting double-teamed every possession, and he wouldn't even fight through it. Barely dropped 10 points. But against the Hawks, it was a different story. He had a 34-point double-double. So it depends what type of Anthony Davis we'll see against Domantas Sabonis. Domantas Sabonis is a very talented big, and I will think he will pose problems for Anthony Davis, as he has in the past. There was one statistic. Whenever Anthony Davis on the Lakers, he only beat Domantas Sabonis once in his whole career on the Lakers. And they matched up very frequently because they're in the same Pacific Division. So that is a little concerning for me. And I don't feel that good about that matchup, if I'm being honest. I think Anthony Davis is the better player in that matchup. But Sabonis has had his number. Kings have had Mavs' number. So if I'm being honest, I do not think the Mavericks will make the NBA playoffs. But there's been a lot of stranger things that have happened in the past, so I wouldn't be shocked to see it happen. Another thing we need to monitor is DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan is the sole reason that the Mavericks lost that matchup back in February. He had 45 points, incredible game winner. The Mavericks threw every single defender at them. They couldn't figure out what to do. So I think in order to win this game, we need one of the young guys to step up. I think Max Christie is a guy who should be watching in terms of defending DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan is an incredible scorer. He's a great veteran presence. He doesn't get shaken in those late game scenarios. He's one of the most clutch players in the NBA. So that being said, you need to get the ball out of his hands. I would much rather see Zach LaVine take the last shot of the game rather than DeMar DeRozan. I will take my chances with Zach LaVine over DeMar DeRozan. It's also, with the Mavericks not having Kyrie Irving, what the Lakers did was genius. They double-teamed Anthony Davis every single time, even without the ball. They fronted him, and they double-teamed him every time he touched the ball, so he just gave it up. Mavericks had 0 scoring against the Lakers. I think the Kings would do something very similar, but one thing Jason Kidd did to combat this was bring in another big and play a 2-big lineup, and it worked until the Lakers ran our other big off the floor by just constantly hunting Gafford with LeBron, and LeBron taking over in the late game scenario, causing the Mavericks to lose. So it should be interesting to see what Kidd does in that scenario, but I think it's a very winnable game for sure, and we should see how the front court matchup is, because I think Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, and Anthony Davis all really do decide this game. Depending on how well they play. We don't need one of them to show up. We need all three of them to show up and play amazing to make a big impact on the glass and on defense. If all three of these guys show up, I like our chances of winning, and I like our chances of holding them off on the offensive side. So the Dallas Mavericks did finish with a worse record than the Kings. So the Dallas Mavericks are playing in Sacramento, which can be a very hostile place to play. So the Mavericks finished with 39-43 record, and the Kings finished with 40-42. And, you know, I will say that, like, in the past, like, not even just this season, the Kings have always had the Mavericks number. It's another reason I'm not feeling that great about the series. They also do have a very good lineup to counter the Mavericks, I'm being frank. If the Mavericks want to play through their bigs, I think the Kings have the perfect lineup to stop that, especially with the Anthony Davis stopper, which is Domantas Sabonis. Domantas Sabonis is a great player. I also think in order for the Mavericks to win, we need to limit the bench scoring in this game. The lineup the Kings have been rolling out recently is like Keon Ellis starting at the guard rather than Malik Monk. And I think that's a great move for the Kings because Malik Monk provides a big scoring punch off of the bench, and it gives them another added level to their offense that they were missing. And I think that's why they started to take off later in the season. Keon Ellis is a great primary ball defender, and he will give Spencer Dinwiddie trouble. Trust me with that. I'm not a big Spencer Dinwiddie fan, and I do think Keon Ellis will wreck that matchup and ultimately cause the Mavericks to lose. I think another key to win is the Mavericks need to have very minimal turnovers. And whenever you have Spencer Dinwiddie running the offense, because Kyrie Irving's out with an injury and you don't have any other guards you can trust, I really do not like that matchup, especially because of the turnover aspect of that matchup. Keon Ellis leads Sacramento in steals per game, and Spencer Dinwiddie leads the Mavericks in turnovers per game. So I think protecting the ball will be vital in this matchup, even if it's not just Spencer Dinwiddie, because he is initiating the offense for the Mavericks, but the whole team can protect the ball. The Mavericks have been a very turnover-prone team in the last half of the season. And I think that does come with just the trade and getting accustomed to everything. So we'll see if they can pick that up. I think we really need, in these types of games, you look to people who have been in this situation before. Klay Thompson has been in these playoff type scenarios before, and I think he will be someone who to monitor and who will help you win this game. I think you need a big game from Klay Thompson to win this game because a lot of these young guys do fold under the pressure of the bright lights. So that being said, you will turn to guys like Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, people who have been there before. Even though Derek Lively's young, he's been in this type of high-risk scenario before, and he's played big minutes in these games. He played in the NBA Finals. He started in the NBA Finals. So I think it really does depend on how prepared you come to play that game on Wednesday. I feel like one day the Mavericks can be the best team in the league. Like against the Hawks, they played awesome basketball. Against the Lakers, it's like they were left in the locker room. They didn't even want to play. They were not physical at all with Luka Doncic. They just let him have their way. So I think in order for us to win this game, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, and Anthony Davis had to be very, very physical with Domantas Sabonis and Jonas Valanciunas, not letting them get the rebounds. We need to win the rebound advantage in this game to win. Playing will be a very, very scrawny game because it's a win or go home. And the Mavericks need to bring the intensity. Mavericks have been getting rebounded. They've been getting out-rebounded recently, and that's inexcusable. You have 3 7-footers on the roster and you're getting out-rebounded. 2 of them playing at the same time, that is inexcusable. So, especially against a good rebounding team like the Kings, you need to win the rebound battle. It is imperative to win the rebound battle. I think with physical play from Derek Lively, Anthony Davis, and Daniel Gafford, the Mavericks will win this game. It needs to be the front court who makes a statement of, we are here, the Mavericks have arrived. After the trade, there's not been a moment except for maybe the Hawks game where it's been Anthony Davis, I have arrived in Dallas moment. Why would we trust you in Dallas? Why did the ownership trust you? There has to be some reason we made this trade. So I think Anthony Davis has a big game, has a coming out party, and shows the fans at Dallas why we traded for Anthony Davis. That is imperative for him to see, because once he has the city behind his back, Dallas Mavericks, they'll take off. Frankly, fans can do a lot for an organization, and the morale of a team is highly dependent on the fans. So the sooner you get the fans to rally behind you, the better this Mavericks team will do. I think we need to take away DeMar DeRozan's mid-range game. And that's easier said than done because that's his go-to shot. He loves the mid-range shot. And that's how he did kill us in February. So I think you either let him shoot. I don't even think you let him shoot. I think you double team him off the catch and make him pass the ball. Make someone else beat you. Make Keon Ellis go for 30 points to win the game. I am 100% fine with losing if Keon Ellis a scrawny defensive role player goes for 30 points. That is the way I'm okay with losing. I am not okay with losing if DeMar DeRozan has 45, Zach LaVine has 40, and Sabonis has 30 rebounds. I cannot lose like that because that shows that you didn't even want a game plan for this game. You didn't want to take these key players out of this game. That's how you win these huge games. You take these key players out and you go and show who really wants it more. To be honest, I haven't seen the Mavericks want a game more this season after the Luka trade. The Mavericks have not played hard at all. And I think this can be an opportunity for them to bond as a team and come out and play really hard and really good basketball and try and get into the playoffs. This is the time where you rally your momentum, get everything situated, and go make a playoff push. Because if we're not gonna lose, there's no point. If we're not gonna lose and go for a better draft pick, there's no point in like going in the first round and losing, because that just tanks your draft stock. So you need to rally the troops and get ready for this playoff push, because it's gonna be an underdog story and hopefully one we can remember for the long run.